He's back to pass. Pressure coming. He's going to get hit in the end zone. That's going to be a safety.
It's now time for Gridiron State of the Union.
Another touchdown, Porter Ridge, and they've gone up. The score is 23-17.
Presented by DMR Reconstruction, North Carolina's leader in quality insurance restoration services, with crews on standby 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. DMR Reconstruction has your restoration needs covered. Give them a call at 704-327-4028.
He's going to hand it off to Byram. Byram on the right-hand side. He's going to be into the end zone. Touchdown, Monroe.
Gridiron State of the Union is your insider's look each week into Union County High School football.
Malcolm fires one off, and it's into the end zone. Touchdown, Piedmont.
Now we head into the DMR Reconstruction Studio and your host, Brian Stevenson.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special Gridiron State of the Union prelude to a championship. It was August 1st, or 134 days ago, the Monroe Redhawks began practice with a goal of being state champions.
We didn't work this hard just to get here. We're not going to be just satisfied just going out there and being on a college campus. You know, our focus is to come up here and win the game.
Last week, the Redhawks punched their ticket with a win over Parkwood in the state semifinal game.
Still going down to the 10-5 touchdown.
A win in a season motivated by the disappointment by a semifinal loss in Swain County last year.
We all said we didn't want to have that same feeling in the fourth round this year, and we got the job done tonight.
Now the Redhawks find themselves 48 minutes and one win away from bringing the state title back to Monroe. Joined now by all the guys. This is the round table segment, final one of the year. I've got Sideline Mike, Shane Green, Reed Alexander, and guys, this has been a great year, hasn't it?
It has. The whole season's been fun, and Mike and I talk about this every week. Mike, we don't know where it went. It doesn't seem like we've called enough games.
I tell you what, in the 10-year history, you and I have been doing this together, Shane. This has got to be the fastest season we've seen ever calling these games, and it's been one that's going to be remembered for a really long time. We've had a lot of really good teams. We've seen teams turn the corner. And who would have thought that we would have had two teams last week in the Western Regional Championship game to decide our matchup here this evening?
Absolutely, and Reed, you and I have called games this year. It's been 17 weeks. Who would have thought that we'd all get to go through the whole season and another state championship? And one of the best games of the year, let's start with you, was the Independence game. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but that was a fantastic finish.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no one really thought Porter Ridge was going to have the year that they did. I mean, they lost a great coach, some great leadership on the team. Everyone said, oh, man, Porter Ridge, they were so dominant, but now they're in a harder conference. Porter Ridge proved that with skilled players and good coaching now with their new coach, that they're still able to perform at a high level. Well, Independence has that legacy and that name, and they were so dominant, then they were down, and Independence is slowly growing to be up there where Butler is now. And Rocky River, they're coming in kind of in the last minute and proving they could be dominant. So to see a Union County team from Porter Ridge step in and take down a legendary name of Independence, it really showed that, hey, there's some talent here in Union County.
Absolutely, and you had probably the right there with it, the next best game, you and Shane, as far as that Sun Valley Weddington game. That was another thriller.
2 years in a row, this game's went into 4 overtimes. Pretty impressive matchup between those two. This year it was much the same. It ended up an interception. Weddington drives down. They ended up sending it to overtime with a field goal. And, it really is. Every year when those two teams meet, you got a phenomenal matchup. This year certainly didn't disappoint.
Any favorite moments of the year? I mean, those are great games, but, we've got all the great teams and great players here in Union County. I know you guys always talk about Albert Funderburk.
Man, that's a tough question, any favorite moments of the year. But I guess as an overall favorite, it was the play of Sun Valley because they lost, Coach Stein, and he'd been an integral part of their program. And we went out there, Mike, and called several games from there this year. And just the feeling that you got and knowing that they're still a team and they're a good football team.
Yeah, they're a good football team. It's going to be interesting to see what happens from this point going forward. Of course, we broke the news last week that they will be with a new head coach next year. But, yeah, going into this season, we didn't really know what to expect, and it's been fun watching them. But I tell you, on the same token, it's been fun watching Piedmont turn that corner. it was big time watching Parkwood turn that corner. Who would have ever thought that, they had a chance to even make the playoffs, better yet do something once they got there. They made waves all across the state in the 2AA rankings.
And on a personal note, Monroe, I mean, we've called, knowing that we're doing this state championship game, we've called so many Monroe games for so many years and seen them get so close to this. To finally make it, I feel like I'm almost as proud as they are, Mike, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Last year, Chase Hill and I went to Bryson City, North Carolina for the 4th round matchup with Swain County. Monroe left a little bit on the field, ended up losing 28-21. And to see them back in the Western Regional Championship game, you kind of had that feeling going in that they were going to kind of redeem themselves from last year. And to see them at the state championship game, as you made mention, we've covered them in the 2nd round. We've covered them in the 3rd round. Big games against Catholic and Forbush and just on down the line. It's really big to see them here this evening.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about that game in just a moment. One more note, Marvin Ridge looking for a coach. That was announced this week. So Coach Dan Bailey is out, and they'll be searching for a new coach. So that's some other news here on Gridiron State of the Union. When we return, we'll talk about that championship matchup right after this on Gridiron State of the Union.
Hey folks, Shane here. If any of you have ever played high school football, the number one thing you want to do is win the game. You're going to find yourself in the red zone on occasion. That's that final 20-yard stretch between you and 7 points, or between you and a victory, or between you and a defeat. Now, you're only as good as your quarterback. So let's imagine that damage to your home is the red zone. You got fire damage, water, wind, or mold damage. Who do you want on your team, and who do you want the quarterback to be? Well, the team you want is DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer is easily the quarterback you want calling the plays in this situation. Folks, they'll help you deal with the insurance adjusters. They'll take care of the damage. They'll fix it back to way better than it was before it ever even happened. It's DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer's your quarterback. They are the leader in the red zone. They'll take care of the problem. They'll help you deal with the insurance adjuster 24 hours a day. Call 704-327-4028. 327-4028. They're the proud sponsors of the Gridiron State of the Union on the Mighty 1190.
Welcome back to Gridiron State of the Union, and continuing our roundtable segment tonight, we're talking about the state championship game, the Monroe Redhawks taking on TW Andrews in just a little while. Reed, we had a couple of these games in the playoffs, and Monroe just is an impressive team all season long.
Well, they have so many weapons. It's not just one running back. And they have several running backs, and their wide receivers double as running backs, kickoff returners, punt returners. They're just super fast. They play both ways. So the athleticism of, let's say, Jalen Barber, number one, that's going to be seen on both sides of the football, whereas a lot of teams will only see that talent on one side.
And their defense has just been so incredible this year. I mean, they've always been loaded in different positions, but, man, start to finish, these guys have it on both sides of the field this year.
Yeah, they certainly do. When you look at it, they're one of the best defenses in Union County. They've only given up right around 200 points on the season. So it's pretty impressive when you look at especially the competition they played. When you take into account they played Weddington, they played Valley, they played a lot of these bigger name, bigger schools, and they've held them to pretty slim margins.
I know that game last year, we've talked about it. Coach Sal talked about it. We'll be hearing from him in just a few minutes. It left a bad taste in their mouth. I know that had to feel pretty bad just seeing those guys go down last year up at Swain County.
No, it absolutely did. And, the thing of it is Monroe got out to an early 21-0 lead, ended up losing that game 28-21, as I made mention earlier. And it was really a heartbreaker because going up, we really felt like Monroe had it. We really felt like it was going to be one of those deals where we were going to have another state championship game to call with them last year. And to see them redeem themselves this year, it's really taken a lot of those feelings away. But I'm sure the players will remember every bit of it, and they're going to be ready here.
And Shane, talk about a freshman quarterback. I mean, we've seen Coach Johnny Sal do some things, but now he's got a freshman quarterback in there and all this leadership. How exciting has it been to see that kid develop and this team get so good?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Weddington game when they put him in. He didn't start the game, and then a little ways into it, here he comes. And I remember Mike saying, here comes a freshman quarterback, and we didn't know his name, didn't know who he was, and he's performed, and he's performed all year. Now, that being said, I will say If I have a concern at all about Monroe in this game against a really good Andrews football team, it's the quarterback. He's played great all year. It's not his ability to play, it's just his age. And this is a big football game. Now, luckily, he's got some seniors coming back from last year that hopefully can calm his nerves a little bit. That's a lot. This kid's 15 years old, maybe 16. That's a lot of pressure on a kid that age. So I think if there's a hiccup, it'll be there. But I still think they've got enough weapons around them to win the game.
Well, let's get final thoughts here. State championship in just a little while. It's been a great year, guys. Reed Alexander, we'll start with you. The Monroe Redhawks going for it all tonight.
Absolutely, can't wait to hear it. I think they will take care of business. It's going to be a tough game. I hope it's a good game because, if anything, both teams want to perform the best that they can and give a show worthy of an audience.
And, Shane, what do you think the Redhawks have to do to come away with it tonight?
I don't think they have to do anything different than they've done all year. I think they've got the weapons. I think they're good enough defensively and offensively. I think all they have to do is run the game plan that Coach Sal gives them. Don't let their nerves get the better of them, and I think it's important, don't get in a hole early. Monroe needs to come out and score first, and they need to just – Monroe plays better with a lead. They always have. They're athletic. Not that they can't come back, but that's what they got to do. Take the lead early and keep it.
And, Mike, you get to call the game tonight, behind the mic, play-by-play, another state championship. How exciting is this going to be to see Monroe?
Man, I tell you, it's truly an honor. I really appreciate the opportunity that Monroe's given us, and just to see them make it to this level, as I made mention, it means a lot. Really excited for the Redhawks and big things to come, not only for this championship game here this evening, but as you made mention, the quarterback Zephaniah Wall, freshman. This is a team that's going to be around for some time to come, regardless of the outcome this evening. State championship going back to Union County tonight. If it happens, it's just going to give them a little bit more fuel for the gusto, if you will.
Well, guys, thanks for helping me out with this show all season. It's been a pleasure. Reed Alexander, Sideline Mike, Shane Green. We'll be back with more Gridiron State of the Union right after this.
Shane here. Imagine this. It's the end of the game. 5 seconds left. You're in the red zone. You have a chance to call one play. You're either going to win or lose the game with this play. All right, at this point, who do you want your team to be and who do you want your quarterback to be? Imagine the red zone is damage to your home. Fire, water, wind, or mold damage. You want DMR Reconstruction as your team, and you want Tim Farmer as your quarterback because he has a darn near perfect completion ratio when he's in the red zone. Folks, they'll call the right play every time. They'll come in, they'll take care of the problem, they'll help you deal with the insurance adjusters, and your home is going to look better than it ever has before. So if you're in the red zone with your home, and it's fire, water, wind, or mold damage, you need the team that can win the game. It's DMR Reconstruction. 704-327-4028, 327-4028. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're the proud exclusive sponsor of the Gridiron State of the Union on the mighty 1190.
Welcome back to Gridiron State of the Union, and I'm joined now by Union County's athletic director and Monroe High School graduate Doug Jones. And Doug, I know this has to be a great night for Union County and for you personally.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a school that you went to advance this far into the state championship. I want to commend Parkwood on a good year from last week, but having Monroe here is exciting.
I know last week was a great week. Let's go back to that for a minute because that was as good an atmosphere at a Union County football game that I can ever remember.
Yeah, we had almost 3,000 people there in attendance, and Parkwood's crowd, they can't be commended enough. They stayed to the end of the game and gave Parkwood a standing ovation. Monroe had one of their bigger crowds of the year there, and just Union County, the excitement all week was great, and we hope that Monroe can feed off that and bring home a state championship.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that because you've known Coach Sal for years. We are very blessed to have some really good coaches in Union County and all levels of sport. But I think one thing that's impressed me the most is you see that Coach Sal's young men are going on to higher education, and they're good students. And that seems to be something that he sets the tone early with his guys about.
Johnny and I went to high school together, and when he got his scholarship to go play football at App, that set the tone, I think, for his coaching. And now that he's in coaching, whether it's basketball, football, or track, he knows what it takes for somebody to go to the next level, and he really pushes his kids. It's easy to say that I've been there. Now you do it this, and he does a good job of that. The kids can't say, well, how do you know? And Johnny is a great leader, role model, and all the above. I couldn't even have enough time to say everything great about him, but because he's lived it, he's played it, he knows what it takes to get to that level, and he pushes his kids hard and makes sure they succeed there.
Talk about what it would mean to add another state championship to Union County after tonight's game.
I think I told somebody before, I'm blessed in the job I've got. I've got 19 schools, 10 high, 9 middle, that are so successful, and it's great to follow them all. 2 years ago, people don't realize this, in Union County we had 17 teams that were in the top 3 in the state. Last year we had 18, and we're already off to a great year this year. We've got a state champion in soccer. We've got an individual state champion in tennis. We got a state champion in cross country already, and just if we could get a football one this year. Porter Ridge was so close the last 2 years. If we could get one this year out of Monroe, our fall in Union County would be really higher than most counties could expect on a one-year basis.
Well, Doug, we're certainly wishing the Red Hawks the best of luck. Thanks a lot for joining us. And you're listening to a special edition of Gridiron State of the Union, prelude to a championship. We'll be back right after this.
Hey folks, Shane here. If any of you have ever played high school football, the number one thing you want to do is win the game. You're going to find yourself in the red zone on occasion. That's that final 20-yard stretch between you and 7 points, or between you and a victory, or between you and a defeat. Now, you're only as good as your quarterback. So let's imagine that damage to your home is the red zone. You got fire damage, water, wind, or mold damage. Who do you want on your team, and who do you want the quarterback to be? Well, the team you want is DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer is easily the quarterback you want calling the plays in this situation. Folks, they'll help you deal with the insurance adjusters. They'll take care of the damage. They'll fix it back to way better than it was before it ever even happened. It's DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer's your quarterback. They are the leader in the red zone. They'll take care of the problem. They'll help you deal with the insurance adjuster 24 hours a day. Call 704-327-4028. 327-4028. They're the proud sponsors of the Gridiron State of the Union on the Mighty 1190.
Welcome back to Gridiron State of the Union. Last week, after the big win over Parkwood, I had a chance to talk to a couple of the Red Hawks about tonight's game and their season quest to become state champions. We've got Isaiah Thomas here, and Isaiah, first of all, you're a senior. Talk about what it feels like now to be going to the state championship.
Well, this is the first state championship Monroe High School done been to in a long time, and hopefully we can win it. Because it's my senior year, that'd be great to end my high school career like that.
Tell me about last year and that disappointment in the locker room after a visit up to Swain County.
We all said we didn't want to have that same feeling in the fourth round this year, and we got the job done tonight.
Tell me about leadership on this team. Coach Sal said you guys have been leaders. How have you been leaders and able to make your team step up this year?
Well, we just trying in practice. We get on everybody in practice, and then the game we still get on. So not to do, tell them what to do and stuff. Get the line calls and everything.
You're going to Chapel Hill next week. I know it's going to be all business, but what would it feel like to walk out with a state championship next week?
Well, I ain't never won states, and that'd be great. And the high school ain't never won states. It'd be great to have the states come back to Monroe High School, and it'd be great for Union County too.
Well, we're really proud of you and the whole team. It's been a great effort, and congratulations. Great win tonight.
Thank you.
Trayshawn Wynn down here, and, of course, Trayshawn had a great job tonight, and I know you have to be excited to be going to the state championship.
Yes, sir. I mean, I would try to tell you in words and on speeches, to fall a step short last year and jump on Swain like we did, and then same thing that happened there at Parkwood. I just told everybody don't get too hyped. Like, stay your posture, man. We got to get this win. And when that about fourth quarter came, all smiles.
All smiles. And tell me about the leadership and the hurt that you guys had last year from losing that game and how it motivated you for this year.
I mean, we had a couple seniors on the team last year, well, juniors, the seniors now, last year, as soon as we lost, they was like, we're going to make it happen next year. And the coaches told us they're going to take our word for it. And actually really make it happen again this year, that's just a blessing, really. But we all knew that little disgusting taste we had in our mouth when we told to put it back in our head when this game started, and it worked out.
It's a little celebrating right now. You deserve it. but your job's not done, is it?
Oh no. You know, they can celebrate it Saturday, but Sunday, back to business. Starting a new week off. Just because you make it to state, it don't mean nothing. You go to Chapel Hill and come home with nothing.
Because somebody's got to come home a loser. You guys just hope it's T.W. Andrews and not the Redhawks, right?
Yes, sir. You already know. Yes, sir.
Two fine young men, Isaiah Thomas and Trey Shunwin. And when we come back, the coach of the Redhawks, Johnny Sowell.
Hey folks, Shane here. If any of you have ever played high school football, the number one thing you want to do is win the game. You're going to find yourself in the red zone on occasion. That's that final 20-yard stretch between you and 7 points, or between you and a victory, or between you and a defeat. Now, you're only as good as your quarterback. So let's imagine that damage to your home is the red zone. You got fire damage, water, wind, or mold damage. Who do you want on your team, and who do you want the quarterback to be? Well, the team you want is DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer is easily the quarterback you want calling the plays in this situation. Folks, they'll help you deal with the insurance adjusters. They'll take care of the damage. They'll fix it back to way better than it was before it ever even happened. It's DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer's your quarterback. They are the leader in the red zone. They'll take care of the problem. They'll help you deal with the insurance adjuster 24 hours a day. Call 704-327-4028. 327-4028. They're the proud sponsors of the Gridiron State of the Union on the Mighty 1190.
Welcome back to Gridiron State of the Union. And what a great pleasure it is now to talk to Coach Johnny Sowell. And tonight, the Redhawks play for the state championship. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It sure does. Hadn't heard that said in a long time. I guess 1989 was the last time we had a chance to get here.
Tell me about this process. First of all, let's just take it one step back. Last Friday night, in-county rivalry. I know you'd handle them easily in the regular season, but still, you get down to that game, anything can happen. But your guys did what they were supposed to do. And
the one thing we try to tell them all week is focus on Monroe. If we go out and focus and do the things that we know we're capable of doing, then everything else will take care of itself.
Let's talk about, we go back a couple of years. I know you're talking to Nate Wimberly from WBTV about this, but, you know, we talk a lot about last year and the disappointment in that Swain County game. But really it goes a little bit further back than that for a lot of people. They're still smarting over a certain call that was on videotape. So take me back for the last few years and just the building process to get to this point.
Well, the thing that we try to tell these kids now, and we told those kids, you know, after that heartbreaking loss, is that we shouldn't put it in anybody else's hand. You know, we went out there and played 4 quarters. And if you go out there and play 4 quarters where you're capable of playing 4 quarters and you don't make mistakes, then it shouldn't come down to a call. You know, we all human, we all make mistakes, but we didn't do what Monroe was capable of doing. We didn't finish the game.
Has that been a building block over the last 2 seasons for you guys?
Almost definitely. You know, that team that was undefeated was a great team. And then the team that came right after them we felt like the last 3 years we had teams that were capable to being where we are now. But you have to take a couple of mistakes away, injury here and there, and we fought through that. We fought through that because we did a good job of taking care of the ball this year. We had the injury bug early in the year, and now we got everybody healthy. So when you can fight some of those things away from you and you have a little bit of luck, you know, you can get this opportunity.
You're getting this opportunity, but more importantly than what will happen here on Friday night, it's very evident that Monroe is developing young men. You take a look at the Dukes, soon-to-be Wake Forest of the world. You're developing men of character, men that can go on to some pretty incredible institutions. Tell me about that process that you instill in them, probably your freshman year, that you kind of set the tone with these guys. Well, it goes back to, you know, when you take over a job, you know, what do you want to do? And for as sports-wise, you know, those kids get out there and they work hard for us. You know, you're talking in the rain, you're talking in the heat in August, and we got to be able to try to do things to give back to them. And the one thing that you can do is try to do all you can do as a coach and help promote them to universities. And the important part of that is make sure they're taking care of what they got to do in the classroom. And we stress that if you do what you got to do in the classroom and you take care of the field, then you'll get an opportunity to get a free education. And definitely you've seen that, and it's great to see those guys. You've got more guys coming. We're going to take a break right now on Gridiron State of the Union. When we come back, we're going to talk about tonight's game, state championship from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. You're listening to Gridiron State of the Union.
Hey folks, Shane here. If any of you have ever played high school football, the number one thing you want to do is win the game. You're going to find yourself in the red zone on occasion. That's that final 20-yard stretch between you and 7 points, or between you and a victory, or between you and a defeat. Now, you're only as good as your quarterback. So let's imagine that damage to your home is the red zone. You got fire damage, water, wind, or mold damage. Who do you want on your team, and who do you want the quarterback to be? Well, the team you want is DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer is easily the quarterback you want calling the plays in this situation. Folks, they'll help you deal with the insurance adjusters. They'll take care of the damage. They'll fix it back to way better than it was before it ever even happened. It's DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer's your quarterback. They are the leader in the red zone. They'll take care of the problem. They'll help you deal with the insurance adjuster 24 hours a day. Call 704-327-4028. 327-4028. They're the proud sponsors of the Gridiron State of the Union on the Mighty 1190.
Welcome back to Gridiron State of the Union. Talking to Coach Johnny Sal. And, Coach, tonight is a big game. You got out of last week, and you've talked, I know, a lot to your guys this week. Talk about the traditions in other areas besides football.
Well, the thing that we tell them is that, it's been teams before you. 89 teams been here. We had 4 or 5 teams in the past couple of years that we felt like had a good opportunity to get here, and we want them to enjoy the time. But remember that we didn't work this hard just to get here. We're not going to be just satisfied just going out there and being on a college campus. Our focus is to come up here and win the game.
You've seen the success in other sports. How much has that gone into letting those guys think about that as well this week?
Well, those kids that's been around us for 4 years, been talking about, Coach, ring, and we've been successful in track, we've been successful in basketball as well. Football's been successful, but we just got to get over that hump. And those kids, particularly those seniors, they're hungry. They're hungry for a victory.
I know they're hungry. I know they were hurt last year. How much did that motivate this group of seniors to really step up and be leaders in those summer practices after the smarting of losing to Swain County?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We brought it up again to them a week ago. You don't want that feeling after that game, and you felt like you played almost 3.5 of great football, and you came up short. That's a feeling that we don't want. So we want to remind them of that, and we also want to remind them that you're here now. So if you're here now, go ahead and finish it.
You got a team across the field from you tonight that is a pretty successful team. They lost their first game, and they're on a 13-straight game winning streak. Tell me about this team and what it's going to take for Monroe Redhawks to take them down tonight.
Well, we got to do what we've done all year is play great defense. We also got to do some other things that we feel like we've done well, too, is protect the ball. We feel like if we can protect the ball and don't turn it over and play good defense, we feel like it'll be a great game. But we feel like that, with our offensive line and the way those guys done this year with their running backs, they're all healthy now, that our opportunity is great. We feel comfortable about what we got to do tonight.
Last question. Before you go out on the field, what's the last thing you're going to say to your young men?
Play hard, have fun.
Coach Johnny Sal, always a class act. Well, folks, I've enjoyed being with you 17 straight weeks for Gridiron State of the Union, and I can definitely report after tonight, the state of our union is very good. Cheer on the Redhawks. They're coming up right now on 1190 WIXC, live from Keenan Stadium. Shane Green and Sideline Mike.